actually want to show you an interesting clinical approach is Dr. Umar Johnson. He has some interesting thoughts, so I want you to see and respond to what you think.
Hey people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you all doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So I posted a video of Dr. Umar kind of calling out Dr. Cheyenne out when he was at Nikano's podcast, and there were some of the things she said talking about how she was not married at the age of 41 and have kids. And he went on to talk about how it's coming from a place of abandonment, and that's why, because she's scared and she wants to control, she wants to be in that control space. That's why she did not get married with 4 engagement that she had. And this has struck a conversation that got people talking and people responding to it. So go check out that previous video so you get full context of what she's responding to. So in this video, Dr. Shan decided to respond to Dr. Oman, and she kind of explained where those things are coming from and clear some of the things he said, because he's also a therapist and she's also a doctor. So she was kind of correcting some of the things. Sorry guys for the light going in and out. Sorry. Anyway, she was trying to she tried to clear some of the things, and some of the things she said, guys, you need to listen. And then I also have a couple of stories about my own life and my own trauma. Guys, you need to just watch this video to learn. So let's go check out our response and then we'll come back and talk more.
What do you think about that?
I love everything he said. Everything he said. Only one correction, then I'll go into what I love about he said. One correction. I didn't say I would want a 26-year-old man. What I was saying to Cam, because he kept asking the same question,
Yeah.
which the fan asking the age, because I'd already said as long as a man has no kids.
Right.
And he seemed very triggered by me saying a man with no kids, because that meant not him. And he
did you pick up on that?
Well, yeah, I picked up on that. And he deems me as being the kind of aesthetically woman that would have been, say, his type back then or now if he was single, because he's very much with his mate. And a man of high value can get whoever he wants, because you said that too.
Right.
But when you're sitting across from a woman who's high value and high functioning, and who would be, and I say this with humility, but I'm just going to say, who would be the poster card, the perfect woman per se, no kids, good looking, she's a doctor, she's educated, has her own stuff.
Right.
It's telling you, no, you couldn't have me. And she's not just saying it, hold on, her no was not a no, her no was like, absolutely not. And I'm not saying it to get you to hunt me. I'm saying it because I'm nowhere in your jungle to be your prey.
So did you purposely say that to him to
no, he kept
make
asking
it affirmative?
No, he kept asking. So
I'm not interested in you?
No. I was just saying, I already said a man with no kids, meaning if the man is 45 or if he happens to be 30 and he has no kids, or if he is as young as 26 and he's mature with no kids, then I'm not going to say no to a 26-year-old with no kids, but yes to a 45-year-old with kids.
Really?
That really. And I understand that I would rather have patience with a younger man than have to have my values be dissipated and shattered with the man with kids, because those are values. It's called preference, which we all have a right for preferences. But let me tell you where I do love what he said.
Yeah.
Because he nailed he put the head up with a nail, the head on the nail, whatever. He was on bullseye on X marks the spot with what he was saying in my low functioning behavior. So remember I was telling you I had my own space of being low functioning in relationships, that I did a lot of work, and I still do a lot of work to maintain it. And I said I'm a hybrid. And now I am a very high functioning woman who manages my low functioning behaviors and parts that don't inflame half as much. Maybe at a 100%, they inflame maybe 20%.
Right.
What I like that he said was, she gets into these relationships when she was engaged multiple times, and because of her abandonment, and abandonment is just the insecurity of being left. Love that he said that. She goes into over controlling, being dogmatic, being domineering, to, which is an illusion, control, not the man, that's the only part he was wrong at, her feelings of abandonment. Because I'm not controlling you, we're all just controlling ourselves. We're never controlling anybody else. We're controlling something that activates in us that we don't want you to activate. So I was controlling this person from moving anywhere off the mark. Because abandonment people need you to stay right here. Right where I left you, right here. That's not reality. Humans move, humans change, humans evolve. And I had to learn, which is what he's saying, how to get out of that low functioning behavior of, I need you right here. Because if you move a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, I'm going to freak out.
Right.
Because that may mean, that movement could mean abandonment to me.
Absolutely.
So I had to work through that. That's where he's correct. But it wasn't in me based on his movement or behavior. Now, when I say I'm high functioning, we had this conversation earlier about me dating in you know, my dating space and saying, you know, Nick, I love that I can be traveling doing me and you know, if I'm dating a guy, he's traveling and doing him, and we find that intimate time to be together.
Right.
I couldn't do that 10 years ago because of what Dr. Umar said. My abandonment hadn't been worked through enough.
Right.
What I love about dating and having been single for 6 years and doing my work is through my experiences, I get to feel my growth when I no longer get any anxiety over the guy I'm dating moving in any way he wants to move. There's so much freedom in that.
Yeah.
And that's why I say to people, if you're in a space that's unhealthy, all it takes is one. I had to take self-inventory. I had to say, what the hell am I doing? Because I was having two things: attachment anxiety in relationships, meaning if I feel unplugged from you, anxiety, right? We unplugged, Nick. We unplugged. I don't know where you're at, or you know. Or if I didn't have control over you, my abandonment, the little girl in me would say, if you can't control it, it's going to be uncertainty. Last time things were uncertain, you were abandoned.
Yep.
So you have to identify and be in your reality that that's what you do. And once I got into that and said, that's what I did or I do, I was able to look and say, okay, God and my therapist, how do I undo this? Because back to what I said, because this is not serving me.
Right.
Now, if it was serving me, I would have kept rolling with the punches. Let me go to one more part to wrap up. The other thing he said was either the control of me controlling my abandonment activation, not the men, but in his words, the men were either pushing the men away or they were leaving. This is what made it really hard for me to change. Not one of them was leaving. Hold on. Hold on. Let me go here. Hold on. Let me say this for the ones who are watching. Hold on. And all of them have attempted to be back, still attempt to be back, and would like to be back. But
All
let me
of
say
my
this.
exes too.
I believe you. But let me say this. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to prove a point. That's what enabled me. That's why in our session that we had, our first few sessions we had, when I said, or with Cam, I think I said, a woman setting a boundary with a man who's dysfunctional not only serves her, it serves him. Because her leaving makes him think, what happened here? Let me take inventory of her and of me. They wouldn't leave. They facilitated. They facilitated my dysfunction. They facilitated whatever I came with. They still put a ring on my finger. They still wanted to be married. They still want that to this day.
Right.
It was good for me in that position.
Right.
But it wasn't healthy for me because all it did was positively reinforce my behavior.
Exactly.
So there was no consequence.
Right.
So what I had to do was get in the mirror and say, to Dr. Umar's point, this is the second wedding and the fourth engagement I called off. How do I plan on staying in a marriage forever? Even if it's only 15, 20 years. If the moment that my abandonment's inflamed, I go to control so that I can get a hold of really me, but it's you in the relationship with me.
Right.
And you're letting me control you. But at some point, I sabotage because there's no level to control. Meaning, when you let someone control you here, guess what? They raise the bar to here. And they raise the bar to here. And they raise the bar to here. So there was no level of control any man could have let me have that would have dissipated my abandonment. That's a self job. I had to detach, get in contact with what the hell I was doing.
Right.
And then come back and say, if that happens,
Right.
this is how you facilitate me. If this happens, I may need more reassurance. But I've done enough work to where I got to regulate myself. Me and a guy I was dating had a disagreement. He had already apologized. He already took accountability. And I felt myself. And this is actually just a year ago. I felt my abandonment in flame. And I was still upset. And I was still mad. And he had already did everything. It was over, Nick. The conversation's over. What he apologized for wasn't even a big deal.
Right.
And I maturely said to him, I said, baby, listen, you've done everything that you were supposed to do. Right now, it's my responsibility to regulate myself. Give me 30 minutes or so. Because I have to make a cognitive decision to let this go. It ain't you. That's what high functioning is. It's baby, you did, baby, you did your job. No, that's narcissism. That's different. That's different. But you know what I mean? After he shows up, now it's up to me to say, I'm going to lock in and move past this.
Right.
But our trauma, our abandonment sometimes will make it to where we can't. And if we have the awareness, we can shift it, and I regulate it, and then we're able to get back into our peace.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that you broke it down that way, because I feel like we got to unpack it some more. Obviously, this session has been a long one and a great one, and we've got a chance to catch up. We got a chance to hear your side, my side on many different things. But I think we got it in our next session. We got to dig in.
We got to go deeper.
And I think even digging in deeper with you, because that's helping so many others, because of someone that we put on a pedestal or that we admire, that, you know, speaks to the high functioning individuals in each of us. We want to hold everyone accountable. So, because what also Dr. Umar said in that interview, and, you know, probably at this point, everybody's seen it at this point, is that he bunched me and Cam and you in the same personality archetype or functioning of, and it was, you know, some narcissistic behavior tendencies that, and what he made the statement, and I think whether he said in that clip or other clips, that we attract who we are.
Despite of who we think we are.
Yeah.
He's just teaching law of attraction.
Yeah. So in that sense, in our next session, we'll unpack some more about, you know, those ideas and then personalize them.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to what we said in this one, is just accepting who we are, taking accountability, and then holding that mirror up so everyone else can take their own.
And being in your truth.
Yes.
I know we're ending, but like this.
Yeah.
Dr. Umar, listen, if he's speaking truth, I got to say I love what he said. And then I have to be able to identify with he's talking about what I did do.
Yeah.
And he said the 4 marriages being caught off, or weddings being caught off, is where he was able to assess this whole abandonment thing.
Yeah.
And he's right from where I was.
Yeah.
And so you got to let a duck be a duck. And you can't personalize when people are telling your truth.
Right.
Say, you know what? That was me at one point.
Yep.
And I've worked through that.
Yeah.
You're right. Next subject.
And that's
What's
how
wrong
I
with
feel.
that,
You're
though,
right.
right?
Next subject.
Love Dr. Cheyenne. I love her, love. Let me know what you think about Dr. Cheyenne's response to today's conversation to Dr. Umar. Let me know what you think about response. But please, as always, keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thought, okay? So here's my take on what she said. Like, I so resonate with a lot of things she said, because and secondly, I love the way she's very transparent. She's very open. She's very, like, ready to speak about her trauma. She's not ashamed of it, which most times as women we're taught to not embrace our trauma, our shame, and all that. We are supposed to be ashamed of it. Don't speak about it. Don't talk about it. And for her to identify with it and speak about it freely, to even educate and empower other women, I love it, because almost like I'm looking myself in the mirror. We're almost about the same age range and almost the same type of personality, because I'm the type of person that I love control, and that's because of my childhood old trauma, which I'm going to get into, because I still resonate with so much of the things she talked about and where she was and where she is now, healing through her trauma and who she is now. So I like that she didn't like try to dismiss Dr. Umar. She just been transparent. So for me personally, a lot of the time when you're on your journey in the process of trying to heal your trauma, there's a lot of things about yourself that you will find out, and then you're like, is this me? And for me personally, it was the fact of I was a control freak. Like yes, that's what my therapist said. I was a control freak. And I know, yes, I want things done a certain way, but I didn't know that I was a controller. I didn't know that I have a lot of anxiety. I didn't know I have the sense of abandonment. I didn't know that because of the way I was raised. I was raised in a polygamous home, and if you're in Nigeria. And if you're in Nigeria from the south part of Nigeria, you understand that there's a lot of neglect that comes with it, especially as a first daughter that you have to raise other children. So I, from the get-go, I have that, but I always feel like I'm alone. Nobody takes me, nobody takes care of me, nobody. So the fact that I feel abandoned and all that, that kind of reflects so much in my relationship and how I deal with my relationship. Even with my friendship, it kind of reflects on it. But I didn't even understand that was it, because at that time I just thought I was just being me and all that. But the anxiety that comes with you being with people and being with someone, and then you are not like, you always like have that they are going to leave, they might leave, and all that. That's really a scary place to be. And a lot of times we as women, especially my society, don't even have the knowledge to process this type of information and this type of feeling and who they are. For me, that was where I was. And by the time I was seeing my therapist, which kind of really changed a lot of things for me, because I was raised in an environment where I was asked to hush, don't talk about your situation, don't talk about, like, there's a whole, like, to walk, like Dr. Shine said, to move in a very low frequency. The goal is for you to just shoo, just keep quiet, don't talk about it, don't process your emotions, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. So by the time I start processing my emotions and knowing who I am, what I am, and doing the work to heal on the journey of being a better version of myself and be authentic to myself, because that's one thing it shows. And Dr. Shine just said, like, that's one thing it shows you when you are working on your trauma, when you're working on your trauma, and you can identify your trauma and you're not working on it, like, it's almost like you now walk in your truth, and people look at you like, oh, why are you sharing that? Why are you so confident opening your mouth to say things about yourself that are this? Why are you so comfortable? They don't understand that the fact that now you can identify it and you can embrace it, that is half of the work done, because now you can now start healing and working accordingly so that you can be a better version of yourself. But that's a thing that a lot of women don't want. A lot of times people don't want to do the work. And like the lady said in the part one, talking about how accountability is key. And when you're on the self journey, when you start holding yourself accountable for the things you do, see, when it comes to relationship not working, friendship not working, family dynamic not working, most times, as much as we point the finger to other people to say, oh, this is what this person did that got me like this, that got me this way, that got me feeling this way, sometimes it's good to look into yourself and see the part, the role you play deep down, and identify with it and know yourself responsible. Because sometimes I didn't even realize it, that certain way, the way I see things, the way I react to things was based on my trauma, my neglect, my fears, and that was reflecting in my relationship, in my friendship, in my family. It was showing. And even now I'm still in the process, but still in the process of healing and being a better version of just going on the work. I feel like self-healing journey is not, it's not it's not a one-time thing. I feel like it's a lifetime thing where you just keep doing it. And this is why I encourage women here on this channel to go do the work, do the healing, heal, know your, identify your trauma. It is key. Identify your trauma, know what it is, do the work, heal the trauma, and it's a different type of happiness. I've said this before, and this is why I can see how Dr. Cheyenne is so confident. She's not ashamed of what she has been through, who she is, and what she is. And that's what I aspire for a lot of women to be, because I would say I'm on that journey of being that woman. I am so proud of who I am right now. Like, I am not ashamed. A lot of times, sometimes my mom tell me like, oh, this thing when you, my mom watch my videos a lot, every single day she watches my video. And sometimes she calls me like, that one that you shared today, like, calm down, oh, that was too much. But the truth is that I am not ashamed for who I am. If people like Dr. Shine's story and my story can help a woman to go get the help and identify with their trauma and realize that this is what I am. Because when you are in that place where your trauma is what is controlling you and what is reflecting who you are, and then you are not projecting those fear and anxiety and abandonment on the people in your life and all that. You are walking in a very low frequency that when you even look down, you find out that you are not even genuinely happy. I could proudly say that for the past couple of years, I've been genuinely, when I mean genuinely, not even because of any, but genuinely happy from down in my spirit, because I am authentically living my life, my, like I'm speaking my truth. I'm walking on my journey authentically. I'm not trying to cover anything. I'm not trying to max anything. I see my fault, I see my flaws, and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, girl, you F up there. Oh, girl, you're not supposed to make that move. I do it, and I do it with a lot. And this is the process you get when you do the healing. So I love our response to the entire Dr. Uman's conversation and talking about the healing and what it does. Like, I love it, and holding people accountable. Okay. So anyway, guys, I know I just use this to kind of share my life story, but anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about Dr. Sharon's response to Dr. Uman. Go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know it. Don't forget to share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.